need to change my title. I'll give you bona fide lovin'. Oh, oh, oh. Whoa, I can hear myself. I can hear myself singing really poorly. Oh my god. That's not how I wanted to start my day.
Mission ends in 60 seconds.
Mission ends in 60 seconds? I don't have Archon to this server. I can go to a different server. If I have to. I probably will have to. Let me just do that. I'll give you bona fide lovin'. Oh, oh, oh. Whoa, what's the password to our server? Holy shit. Okay. Whoa, oh, oh. Let me tweet this. Tweet. Check the tweets. Let me pop this shit out. I just popped out my chat, so if you said anything before I popped it out, I did not see it, and I apologize. I will try not to let my power go out again. I will try my best. I'll do my best. Alright. Whoa, oh, oh. I have that song stuck in my head if you couldn't tell. Okay, okay. Change level. CPU process. RC3? RC2? Okay. Sorry, eyes. I'll do that turn. Whoa, oh, oh. Okay, what the fuck was I talking about before? I was talking about rollouts, right? So there's that one soldier rollout, the gunboats rollout. It's a hell of a thing. I'll show it to you guys again. It's been a long time since I played TF2. Okay. I'll just show you guys the gunboats rollout once more. Like, generally this gunboats rollout isn't something you want to do every round. Because a big part of its effectiveness is the fact that it is a surprise. If it's expected every single time, you know, it can be countered quite easily. Not quite easily, but it can be countered. But just once again, the gunboats rollout is something like this. Textures? 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 Where are my textures? Where are my textures? What the fuck? Alright. What the fuck? I'm gonna restart my game. Hey, remember that time where everything worked fine and there were no problems? Yeah, me neither. Oh hey, you can see my webcam for a second. I'm not using my webcam for many reasons. I will explain crit heals. I'll explain them as part of the rollout. I'll mention that when I get to the, I'm not wearing much clothing right now, because I had to wake up early for this. Noon is early. Didn't have time to get ready. Alright. Okay, but you get the gist of the gunboats rollout.
Give 'em hell, boys!
But the normal roamer rollout what we prefer to do, at least on laser beams, is, for the sake of managing the heals of our medic and just our team in general during the rollout, we like to have the pocket soldier be the one who damages himself and equalizes. Let me turn on view models. Okay. We like to have the pocket soldier be the one who takes damage and equalizes. And we have the roamer be the one who sticks with the medic, building most of the Uber during the rollout. So the roamer really, during his normal rollout, has a pretty easy job. He just kind of has to do a bunch of really short jumps and keep pace with the medic, maybe being a few steps ahead of him. Doesn't really have to worry about not taking too much damage. I mean, if he can avoid the fall damage, probably be good. But it is not necessary. Sorry, one moment. And then, really the roamer just has to really kind of do those two jumps. He does the one jump out of the spawn, and maybe one more jump here. And then once he gets to the choke, he's kind of free to go. He should have, you know, 300 health. He should have a full buff. And he's able to go bomb on demo men as his heart desires. Now, we come to what the pocket does on the standard rollout. And this is where the crit heals come into play. This is where I'll explain crit heals. And really, crit heals are the mechanic behind why having a soldier equalize at all is something that is effective. So as the pocket, I do this. I just shoot the ground twice to get myself close to this door and get myself in the red health. Obviously because the equalizer gives me increased move speed as my health is lower. But one thing that is really, really helpful, if you are the soldier that is equalizing on this map, what you should try to do is nestle yourself right by that door with your initial jumps so that you hold this door open. Forward! When you hold this door open, it makes your demo man's rollout infinitely easier, because your demo man can then place a sticky right here, which makes his rollout generally go much more smoothly than if he has to place it further back on the door, or if he has to open the door and then place it. So let me just keep trying this till I get it right. That's not right. Video games are hard. I mean, ideally you'd be closer than that, but it kind of depends on where your initial spawn is, whether or not you can get over there. I mean, you get the idea. I mean, I'm shit at this video game, but you get the idea I'm trying to convey. You can park yourself right here during the initial freeze time and hold this door open for your demo man, making his rollout easier, and he will thank you and give you lots of hugs if you do that for him. So beyond that, once you're down into your red health, you're equalizing around. Generally, one thing you want to do, if you run with your equalizer out along the right side here, you'll actually bump your demo man and fuck up his rollout. It's better to go around the wall here so that you're not interfering with your demo man. You just drop down here, don't worry about taking fall damage because you won't. And then right about here, you just take your equalizer off, get fully buffed, and then do your thing at mid. And yeah, below 40 health is the maximum speed for equalizing, but it really kind of doesn't matter. You really just do... Oh, is it 50 or below? Did they change it? Well, either way, as long as you get into the red health, you will be fast enough to beat your medic to the choke and have crit heals. Now let me explain crit heals. In this game, if you are damaged, it starts a timer. You'll have to forgive me for not knowing the exact numbers of this timer, but generally what it is if you have gone the last X number of seconds, let's just say 10 seconds, I'm pulling that number out of my ass, without taking any damage, 10, 15, 20, okay. If you've gone those many seconds without taking damage, the rate at which you get healed by a medic goes up. So say I just took a rocket. Bam, I just took damage. Right now, my heal rate from a medic is as low as it can be. This is the slowest I will be being healed by a medic. If I wait 10 seconds, I'll get healed much faster by a medic. If I wait a few more seconds, my healing will be even faster. And I guess there's 3 tiers of this speed increase that are collectively referred to as crit buffs. So the reason equalizing works is that you take damage right at the start. You know, you're shooting the ground, getting yourself to red health to equalize. And by the time you've run all the way over here, come down here, stood here, and waited for your medic, enough time has passed so that you have entered the area of crit heals. You have the maximum heal rate from your medic. So he only has to heal you for a very short time to get you up to a full buff. If it wasn't for crit heals, it would take a significantly longer time for you to get this 300 health, and equalizing probably would not be valid. But luckily it exists, crit buffs are a thing, and we can do equalizer rollouts, and now Europe can enjoy the pleasures of equalizer rollouts. Okay, so as a pocket, your job's pretty easy. Most of the time, you're just going to be doing that equalizer rollout. I'm not alone. Hold on. Oh, God. Hold on, let me get him in mumble. God damn it. Dude, that was scary as shit. I just heard footsteps and I turn around and there's a fucking Bradford there. Hold on. I'm gonna give him my mumble. I'm not alone. The call is coming from inside the house. Dude, Brad's giving me the eyes. He's giving me the eyes. He's got no eyes. He's got no lips. Brad, why don't you have any lips? Oh, I have to... Bradford, talk to me.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I just wanted to show these guys what crit heals actually looks like. Since
let's do it.
Okay.
First, let's show how slow normal heals are.
Oh.
But yeah, normal heals, pretty slow. Takes me a really long time to go from red health up to a full 300 buff. Like, a really unacceptably long time. Now, if I take some damage and we let some time pass...
How long? 5 or 10?
Let's hit him with 10. Let's make him wait.
5, 6...
It's significantly faster. You see it
Then
takes...
do 15?
Yeah. And then there's a tier beyond that where it's even quicker.
5... 10... 15.
And oh my god, it's like
that's
instantaneous. You get healed so fast. And that mechanic is crit heals, and that mechanic is why equalizer rollouts work. Okay. Thank you very much, Brad.
You're welcome. I think some of the best players are the ones that are always the ones asking when they have crit heals, since they're easier to heal.
Yeah, crit heals are definitely a mechanic you should abuse as often as possible. I think one thing that I saw... I'm going to go back in Huey's mumble. One mechanic that you'll see... Pardon me. This is a mechanic that you'll see being abused a lot. That's one of the reasons, as someone in my chat mentioned, why scouts tend to spam shots at people from across the map for 3 damage. Is that it disrupts crit heals. Anytime you take any damage, even if it's just 3 damage, your crit heals will be disrupted. Alright, that's enough talking about crit heals. Let's talk about process. So you've got a vague idea of how the rollouts work. I guess let's talk about the mid-fight. Let's see if I have any questions here on the mid-fight, on the thread. The first question, thoughts on the possibility of both Pocket and Roamer doing Gunboat's rollout on the mid-fight of process? Could it be a strong, aggressive play to set the tone for the round? That is interesting. That's something I'd like to... it would be really interesting to see that. And I think it has a potential of working, but it seems like kind of an all-in play to me. So let's think about that. If you have both soldiers do this Gunboat's rollout, what do you lose? What do you have to give up to make that happen? Well, first you have to do it right, but assume I did it right. Well, you wouldn't have anybody to build with the medic. So you'd have to have one of the scouts stay back and build with the Boston Basher. And that's fine. You can do that. You'd have both soldiers be on the enemy demo man, and scouts probably very quickly. And I would imagine with a high probability of getting a pick. If you had one of the bombing soldiers land on this kit, and one of the bombing soldiers land on this pill, or even just go balls deep and like land back here, you could probably get a kill with a very, very high success rate. But then you've got 2 soldiers with non-buffed health sitting in enemy territory, and they'd probably need to back up pretty quickly and take a lot of heals away from the rest of the team. But then at that point, your demo man and your fully buffed scouts should be arriving with the medic in tow. So I think I could see that being a really strong strat. Something that I would definitely like to see. Like I said, it does seem like it's kind of an all-in strat. Like, I feel like if anything goes wrong with what either of the soldiers are doing, like, I think if one of them fails their rollout, it's going to be very hard for you to recover and win that mid-fight. But I think if both of them do their rollout successfully, it could work. So you should try that and let me know how it goes. Moving on to a question from Mousy posted in the thread. If you Uber in a perfect situation with 40 to 100% advantage, who would you focus? Medic, demo, or just any class that you see? Talking specifically about Ubers on CP process. Hello, Sinwin. See, it's kind of hard. This map is interesting in that escapes happen all the time. Let me try to illustrate what I'm talking about. Say you're holding your second, and you're trying to push mid. You're trying to come in through this choke and retake mid. Their medic can be holding right about on that point, and still be close enough to dish out heals to people. But he can also back out really easily. Because look, I have to do an incredibly long rocket jump to even get to this medic to damage him. And that rocket jump is long enough that I've disconnected the heal beam from my medic. My medic has to run all the way through here to get back to me. So if I'm trying to commit instantly on the medic, it really might not work out. You know, if their medic is holding a little closer, maybe they're playing here, and we have Uber advantage, yeah, I'd say, you know, that's a mistake. They shouldn't be holding that close. And at that point, I'd probably prioritize the medic, because I would feel confident that would have a high chance of killing him or damaging him enough that one of the other people I'm bringing in on the Uber with me, probably a scout, could finish the kill. But I'd say if their medic is tucked really far away in a very safe place, like is so common, like their medic could be back there. If I'm pushing here, their medic could be back there. And the odds of me getting to the medic and killing him and still having it be a good Uber are pretty small. So generally, most of the time, it's better to go for the things that are close to you. or even really not even... One thing that's really effective on process is just using the Ubers to gain ground. Just like pushing in here and just pushing everybody back, doing damage to what I can, hoping other people on my team are also doing enough damage that we end up getting a few kills. But really the most critical thing is just pushing them back and getting this ground, because it's very easy to seal off a lot of these chokes. So say we've pushed in through choke, we had an Uber. Say most of our Uber was used just really closing distance and getting close to people. And their entire team has retreated back into the sliding door, they retreated back into bats, or they retreated back into lobby. That's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Even if I don't get any kills, it still puts me and my team in a pretty advantageous position. Because from here, I can single-handedly lock this down and put pretty good spam here to punish anybody who comes out there, provided I've got somebody capping the point, watching it and letting me know what's happening. So I can buy a lot of time by doing this while my scouts cap the point, or scout singular caps the point. And then I can maybe have my demo man up here stickying this area, holding this off, or he can even be on the point as well, laying stickies around to cover me. And say this push that we did in here is with Uber advantage, like the question Mousy is posing. He says, if we have a huge Uber advantage and we're pushing, who should be focused? I'm not entirely certain you need to focus anybody if you've got a huge advantage in this particular scenario pushing this point. Because if you can use your Uber to push them out and cap, and they don't have such a big Uber advantage in return that they can just push right out, I don't see any problem with that. You've won the points, you're holding the chokes, and you're holding them so tightly that it's going to be difficult for them to push out. That seems okay. I mean, obviously getting kills with Ubers is probably a thing you should try to do, but don't underestimate the power of just using an Uber to gain ground, to gain space to work with, to gain cap points. I'd say using the Uber just to focus the cap, just to give yourself room to work on that cap, can be as valuable as getting a kill. Because think about it this way. If you Uber in to this point, you don't get any kills, but you get the cap. Some teams, some pocket soldiers might think, oh my god, I beefed it, we Ubered, I used the whole Uber, I didn't get any kills, all we got was the cap. Oh my god, they're just going to come right back. They're just going to come right back with their Uber, they're going to push out here, they're going to push out there, we're going to be forced to fall back, and they're just going to recap the point. That's not a bad thing. Because whereas before, if you had just stayed here and waited for the perfect Uber to present itself, they could have very well gotten their own Uber, and now suddenly you're fighting Uber v Uber here at this choke instead of fighting Uber v Uber here. Now, if they want to come back in here, they have to pay something. They have to pay with their Uber. They have to use their Uber and try to come kill you to get this point back. And honestly, it's pretty darn easy to make them pop by spamming the chokes, of which I can see almost all of them. The only thing I don't have a good angle on is this. Standing here with my medic tucked behind me, I can spam that, I can spam that, I can spam that. And put a lot of damage out towards making the enemy team pop as they come out. And then when they pop, I can just back up here with my team. We can build our Uber up again, probably have an advantage, and then come back and try again. Maybe we get more kills this time. But that kind of leapfrogging, that kind of back and forth, that tug of war around points and around Uber advantages, is not something that is intrinsically bad. It doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that you had a bad Uber. It just means that you're playing the tug of war Uber game. It's going to happen sometimes. You need to learn to make it work in your favor. It's kind of the whole principle behind Viaduct. Like, the principles on Viaduct can be applied here. One thing you'll see teams do on Viaduct is, say they're holding the point and everything goes terribly and they wipe. And they're like, okay, well, we've wiped. They have the point now. That's okay. Nothing we can do about it. It's already happened. We've lost it. All there is to do now is to build Uber and suicide people at them to make them pop, make them use their Uber. It is universally understood that Viaduct is a leapfrog. It's a tug of war. There will be back and forth, and that's okay. And that's one thing I feel some people lose sight of on 5CP push maps. That it's okay to have this back and forth tug of war. That at every step of that back and forth movement, there is a chance for you to gain an advantage. Just because you didn't get kills with your Uber, just because their medic got Uber and is now pushing back out, doesn't mean this just means, oh, we have to fall out because we fucked up. It means, oh, hey, there's an opportunity here for me to make them pop, get my med to safety, get our Uber back up before theirs, and come back in and try again. That's what it means. Doesn't mean that you lost. Doesn't mean that you had a bad Uber. It just means that's how the game works. Alright. Another question from Mousy, asking, what are your thoughts about roamers running shotgun full-time on process? I really don't like it. For the reason that I have been spoiled by the roamer on my team named Zebrian. Zebrian is incredibly fast with the gunboats on this map. He can be essentially anywhere at a moment's notice. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Say we're holding on mid, and a back cap comes up. Say we're holding on mid, and a back cap comes up, and I know how to rocket jump. Just assume I know how to rocket jump. Pretend for a moment. Allow yourself to suspend your disbelief. And assume that I know how to rocket jump. I know that's a tall order. Okay. Look at that. Takes me about a second and a half, and I'm here to stop the back cap. Zebrian does that shit all the time. He can skip jump anywhere on this map, much better than I can, and just be anywhere instantaneously to give help to whatever fights need it. I value that much more than I value his ability to maybe kill scouts a bit more with a shotgun. Just for the geometry and the length of this map lends itself so much to gunboating that I think you'd probably almost never want to run shotgun roamer on this, but I mean, that's my opinion. Maybe someone will come along and completely destroy me with a roamer shotgun and I'll be forced to reconsider my position. Zebrian, take me to mid. Exactly, because I can't get there apparently. Mousy, again, asks, as a pocket, what are your main goals on process? And he also asked the same question for roamer. Really, my main goals on this are, when we're holding, protect my med and build Uber as efficiently as I can if one of my scouts isn't building. And then when we're pushing, just have good Ubers that give room for my team to work. I mean, I guess what I just did was give a description of what Pocket Soldier is in general. Let me try to be more specific. I don't know, I'm not really sure I have any specific goals on process that are too unique compared to other maps. God, let me try to think if I do. If there's anything really special about this map that makes me have a different goal when compared to other maps. I mean, really, I do think this map is a little bit difficult for pockets, but I don't think, hold on. I have forgotten things. Pardon me. I know you can see my webcam right now and it's not pointing at anything. Oh, why is there a screw here? Who put that there? What was I building that had a screw?